It's been a very rewarding life. I have never regretted my decision to be a Carmelite. On January 10th, I'm going to be 100. Do you believe it?
Born January 10th, 1920, Mary Eileen is the third of 6 children born to Gertrude and Martin McNamara. Mary Eileen was baptized at the Church of St. Aloysius in Washington, D.C. on February 1st, 1920, and was later confirmed at the Shrine of the Sacred Heart, taking Cecilia as her confirmation name. Mary Eileen attended Sacred Heart Grade School, the Academy of the Sacred Heart, and Wilson's Teachers College. She entered the Carmelite Monastery of the Sacred Heart on Biddle Street on May 31st, 1941, and received the habit on December 7th, 1941, taking the name Sister Gertrude of the Blessed Trinity. Sister Mary Eileen has been a Carmelite nun for 78 years, and today we celebrate her 100th birthday.
Looking back at Mary Eileen's life over 100 years and also her 78 years in Carmel, for me as the youngest member of our community is incredibly inspiring, because for me, Sister Mary Eileen really embodies what it means to be a Carmelite nun and her devotion to God for the sake of the world.
She also has this deep joy about her, and I think that's something that people encounter when they talk to her, whether it is in person or on the phone or the different groups she led over the years. When I close my eyes and I think of Mary Eileen, I would see her with that very beautiful smile on her face. Sister Mary Eileen was the sister who answered a lot of the incoming mail. You could see that she really cared about the person she was writing to. She would always have some words of encouragement, words of consolation, and I always felt they were really coming from the depth of her heart and they were coming out of her prayer life.
Mary Eileen has been a Carmelite for 78 years, and 6 months after she entered, she received the habit, and on that day, Pearl Harbor happened. Her life of prayer had new impetus when we went to war. This was Sister Mary Eileen's office. On May 31st, 1940, I entered the Baltimore Carmel on Biddle Street. Today, June 2nd, 2015, I am a member of the same Carmelite community, happy and grateful in my Carmelite life. This was her interpretation in clay of the drawing done by St. John of the Cross, and it's the way of perfection. There's a path up a mountain, some side roads, and what John wrote on that is, I brought you into the land of Carmel to eat the fruit thereof and the best things thereof. And there remains only the glory of God. It's taken her 100 years, but she's going to get to the top.
Probably some of my most memorable moments of when we played pinochle together and when we've just, played games outside. And as serious as she can be and as, devotional as she can be, she has a really light side of herself, even though she's incredibly competitive too. But she just enjoys having fun.
If we had a party and we'd play musical chairs, well, if you happen to be the last one with Mary Eileen, and woe betide you if you tried to get the chair at the same moment, you'd land on the floor and she'd get the chair, Very competitive. But I enjoy being the winner.
And that is the truth.
That's the truth.
I'm a secular Carmelite. I'm actually the president of the community that meets here. Sister Mary Eileen, of course, was the spiritual assistant to our community when I joined in 2004. But at that time, there was not a lot of resource around for development of the secular order. And she, with her wealth of experience and background, her knowledge, her writings, her meditations, I mean, she had so much to draw on. She would teach us. We would have such a resource there. Sister Mary Eileen is loving. She is generous, and she's accepting. She accepts who she is. She very much lives in the moment, doesn't worry about the past or be concerned about the future. That's what she accepts about us too, and teaches us.
What's really special about Aunt Eileen is when you come, there's a certain spirit, a certain presence about her. She loves you. And when you think of the number of years that she's been out, almost 80 years, you've gone through World War II, you've gone through the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf Wars. But throughout, she's evolved with the times.
The inspiration from Aunt Eileen isn't just from Aunt Eileen, it's also from the Carmelite. It's not just Aunt Eileen who's sort of an inspiration, but the community. Often thought that she's been sort of a centering influence. And Carmel has been for us. We have annual picnics here. Start off with Mass, enormous picnic. We take over one of the gardens or the parks or the areas, and just the sisters are all with us. It's a family.
So my middle name is Eileen, and I'm really glad it's one of our family names. She's always been just such an inspiration to me. She's just so peaceful, and she has so much love to give, just like all the sisters. They've kind of been like another family to me.
Sister Mary Eileen chose of the Trinity for her title. I feel like her life, her desire for relationship, not only with God, but with all of humanity, the way that she welcomes and accepts people and wants to journey with them. It speaks of a life of relationship. And the Trinity, I mean, what better form of relationship, the depth of what relationship is. Both relationship within the Trinity itself, but that relationship of God being poured forth, right? And I feel like Mary Eileen's life has been just one of deep relationship with God and with her neighbor and her sisters and her family.
A life is not thrown away that is devoted to a life of prayer. Yeah, my life has been a full life, and a happy, contented life.
What is your prayer life like now at 100?
Very simple, just in the presence of God. And I would have conversation with God. I can't tell you what God says back to me, but I certainly am aware of the presence of God. And that really is the whole of my life. My life is a life of prayer. And I don't regret at all having made this decision, I've been happy all these years. So I'd say to any young person who wants to come along, come along.